All right, Chris Petri here. Thanks so much for coming by. Hey, if you're just starting out in watercolor or you've been with me for quite a while, no worries. We're going to create some figure painting. I hope you'll enjoy this. This is something that you can do anytime, anywhere. All you need is a little bit of paint. We're using ivory black with maybe a couple other colors mixed in here. No big deal, right? And we're using our just standard watercolor brushes, standard watercolor paper, and we're doing some human form work, obviously. And we're gonna we're looking for that real nice dark and light, the white paper and the really dark tones of the figure. And we work out and we create our shapes, everything like this. We're going to cover all the details that we will, be working with as we go through, and these are the first few that we do, and then we do a couple larger with a larger brush here. So I think we started out with a smaller brush, maybe like a travel brush, number 5 travel brush. Maybe we bumped it up a little bit on the, with a little bit of a larger brush, and then these last 3 figures here we used the larger number 10 Da Vinci Maestro brush. But again, we had so much fun here. I hope you'll join along, practice along with us here. Again, of course, give me a thumbs up if you really like this, and I'm hoping you'll subscribe to my channel too. Subscribe if you haven't. This way you'll stick with us here. We're doing watercolor nonstop, week after week, month after month, year after year. You will learn watercolor. You will be confident, get the hang of it just by working along with us and doing the work that we're doing. This is just one facet of what we do. Obviously, if you're here for the first time, we will do a little bit of figure work every once in a while, but we do tons of flower paintings, seascapes, beach scenes. We do landscapes, trees. We do still life with cups, saucers, fruits, vegetables, flowers. We'll even do portraits too as well. So we do everything here watercolor, but if you stick with us, you subscribe, you'll be plugged in here on my channel, and you'll be practicing all of these different subject matter in watercolor that's going to improve your skills, beyond what you'd ever imagine. So I know so many people that I've been working with over the years here on YouTube have been emailing me, sending me their paintings. Everyone is having great success. No reason why you can't. So let's keep working together, okay? And we're going to get started in just a second on these really, really fun figure paintings here. All right, we just saw a few of our figures we painted, and we're going to just really, the next hour or so, we're just going to have a fun time just using our brush, a little bit of paint, a little bit of watercolor paint here. We squeezed out some paint. I have some ivory black. I think I'll use that for the main, for my figures, but you can always mix in some burnt sienna or burnt umber, sepia tone paint. You can make a little bit of blue. You can add some blue into your mixes too if you want to change up a little bit and have a little more color variety in your figure painting that we're going to do. But let's just have a great time, and this is perfect for those of you that maybe you shied away from figure painting and portrait painting. There's no reason to. As a watercolor artist, it's so much fun to kind of branch out and start working with the human form, with the human figure, with portrait painting. And it's all just a matter of a little bit at a time. You just start out and you keep working on it, and that's all. Just over time, you'll be more comfortable with it. It's like anything else. When you first started watercolor painting, it was uncomfortable. You're using these foreign materials, paints, brushes, water. It's all kinds of odd things and things that you're not expecting are happening on your paper and things like that when you're painting as a watercolorist, but you got over that, you got through it, you learned it, and there's the same way with figure painting. So this would be kind of just like your fun way to warm up and relax when you're kind of, going to attempt a figure painting, let's say, or a portrait painting, or just doing some, the human body, drawing the body. But we're not going to even draw. We're just going to take our brush and kind of create some shapes. So let's start out. I'll just, you can use anything you want to. You can use other people's artwork. You can use books that you can work from. You can work with magazines, newspaper clippings, anything that has bodies, You could use your phone and just look up, your favorite people that, actors, actresses, musicians, maybe, and you just, look at their pictures, or maybe some action figures, whatever, sports, anything like that. It's fine. You just want to go on there onto your paper. I'm just going to start out with a few. that I thought were really kind of interesting. So I'm going to start here with a head like that, just an oval for the head, and then maybe a little bit of the neck like this, and then out to the shoulder like that, and then maybe to the arm like this, and then like that. So I have a head, shoulder, arm, elbow, forearm, hand, and then let's do the body here, the torso, upper torso, hip, and then maybe we'll come down here, spin our brush around this way, and just maybe start to do the thigh. I'll get a little more paint. So what you'll do is you'll paint with your brush, go as far as you can until you need to reload your brush, and then you pick up some more paint. And that's how we're going to do this. And then we're just going to keep going, and then we'll do another bit of shape here for the calf. And don't worry about being perfect and precise. You know, there's all kinds of formulas. We'll do the formulas and more the scale of things at a further, you know, in another video, okay, let's say. But for right now, I just want everyone to have some fun creating a little bit of the form, the human form, like this. Okay, so the thighs, the knee, and trust me, I still have a lot of practice to do on my figure work. I'm not going to be claiming to be any kind of, authority on doing, figure work or anything like that. I'm just this is just something I wanted to share because it's so fun, and I kind of, once in a while I need to do a little change on things, You don't see me do this a lot on my channel because maybe many people don't like to really watch it. I've worked with portrait painting and figure painting on my channel, and that tends to be something that most people don't tune into. So, like, let's say my views go down a lot but I want people to, I want all of you out there, you've been with me a long time, please give these a try, enjoy this. If you're new here, it's your first time at my, channel, welcome, thank you so much for coming by, and please give this type of thing not just a try, just work with it on a constant basis, maybe every once a week or once every 2 weeks. Take a couple sheets of paper, get out a real simple bit of like some ivory black or some burnt sienna, burnt umber, whatever you like, a little bit of just some wash, and you start working, and you just create some, the human form, and just paint it. Don't even worry about drawing it. Just get it on there. Get the paint on there, and just. I'm looking at a reference book, but I really can't share the book with you because it might be a copyright infringement for me. That's the whole thing with sharing pictures and things on YouTube. If I'm using something else as a reference and it's actually like a published book or anything like that, or magazine or something like that, they can shut off my channel, or they can, so I can get into a lot of trouble. So that's why I don't do it. So you could work right from here, work from my painting here, and I'm just using some reference material, but no need to get too worried about that. And then we'll finish up the upper torso like that. And this is a female form here. And then I'll just do the other leg like this. And again, it's not perfect. Of course, it's far from perfect, but I'm just having a good time here. And then we're going to do the calf here like that, and the knee. And we're going to have the legs are crossed a little bit there, and then we have maybe some high heels on like that. And another high heel over here. And again, nothing perfect here, just having fun. This is great. It's really fun to do this, right? And then a little shadow here just to tie down the figure. So the figure looks like it's now tied down to the base of the painting, or the composition, right? And we could add a little more here. It looks like that's a little bit like that. All right, so again, we're having fun. So we just did a female figure, hand on the hips, you know, casual pose. Looks fantastic, right? For just for the fun of it. That's all. We're having a good time, and this is what it's about. So do lots of these, and eventually, you know, you'll start doing some pencil drawings of figures and portraits and all that. But this is a great starter to warm up and just have a fun time. You can do these for a couple of years, even. You know, maybe you might have a long-term goal of saying, "Oh, I want to create figure paintings and portrait paintings." You know, I want to be working in that type of subject matter, you know, in 2 or 3 years' time. So I want to give myself some time to warm up to it. Perfect type of thing like this to do to warm up to those goals if you have, like, to want to work with the figure human form. And it's really, again, I'm having a lot of fun here. So let's do this. Let's see here now. I'm going to kind of do the hair a little better. Okay, so that's the hair. I just wanted to add the hair there, like so. All right, and again, I'm using a real simple approach here. I just have my water container to my right. I have a tissue I usually hold my hand at all times, and I just rinse off my brush, dry off a little bit of the water on my tissue, and then I go in and pick up my paint. And then I'm kind of taking some of my ivory black over here, kind of moving it up here, taking a little bit of that, burnt sienna, and then just making a little bit of a mix up here like that. So I'm using kind of like a ivory black and a little bit of burnt sienna. Kind of makes like a sepia kind of look to it. But I'm not fussy. Anything works good. Again, you can add some blue. Well, maybe we'll add some blue in a little while as we're working. But it's just a lot of fun. So let's call that our first figure that we're going to do. Then maybe something else. What else can we do? Maybe we'll do a male figure standing. Maybe we'll create something like the male figure here. Let's do we'll do this from the back. So the back of the figure. So that's the male, back of the figure, and then maybe we'll do like shoulders like this, right? A couple like that. Shoulders, triceps, elbows, arms, and then you can spin your brush around this way. So instead of doing it this way, you could also take your brush and just take your hand and spin your hand around this way, and then you can do this, and you can get kind of like more of a, using the point of the brush from the down side going up. That can work really good. Okay, and then we'll do the back here. I wouldn't worry about light and shadow at this point. I'm just thinking of, let's get basically the silhouette of the form. Okay, look at that. Elbow, forearm, down to the waist. So our figure is standing in somewhat of a kind of a heroic pose. Legs kind of, you know, spaced apart like this. So let's get, again, I'm spinning my brush around. My hand's always resting on the paper, if you can imagine. I always have my hand resting on the paper as I use my brush, and that gives you a lot of stability when you just rest your hand on the paper and just kind of press down your brush strokes like that. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this going like this. Then I'll turn my brush around the other way. Okay, so he's kind of in that, again, that heroic pose. And you can, again, just I rinse off my brush, dry off a little bit of water. I grab a little bit of burnt sienna and some of the ivory black. And then we'll just do the calf muscles here. Like that, the calf muscles. And then down to the feet. Like that, heel. And this figure, this male figure here looks like a sprinter or like a athlete, like a kind of an athletic look. Looks like a sprinter, someone that's kind of really lean looking, kind of thin, slender, quick, fast, probably a sprinter or a runner. And then we have the heel, and then the like that. And then we do a little bit of the shadow underneath. Again, to tie down the figure to the page, to make it not... If we leave out this shadow underneath the figure, a lot of times the figure looks like it's kind of floating off into space or something. So we want to have that little bit of shadowing underneath there. It really just helps everything to look really enjoyable and pleasant and positive looking. Okay, so again, we're having fun here. We've done a male and a male and a female figure. All right, we've just been saying this is the real fun way to kind of just get used to the shapes of the human form, kind of the proportion of the human form. Again, in future videos, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because this way I know, like, okay, you're interested in this. A lot of you might be interested in this. You just maybe never saw working with the human form and figure painting in this way before. So if this is the case, just let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If I see a lot of thumbs up, then I know I'll do more videos like this, of course. I'm painting for you. That's why I'm here. And what I'm going to do is, in a future video, we're going to start out and just warm up with these type of videos first for a while. But then I'll get into, like, maybe the proportions of the human form. I'll kind of explain to you how the human head is kind of used as a scale for the rest of the body. So the human body is roughly 8 head lengths in the vertical position. So if you can imagine, if you took a human body or a human form and you took their head and you measured the head of the person that you're going to measure, if you took 8 head lengths, that'll get you down to your feet. And then there's other formulas that go with that too, that get you to the waist and so forth. So we'll go over that in the future, but just a basic rough idea of some of the things we're going to cover in the future, so that you can kind of get a better idea when you're working with the form. You'll have more of a kind of a blueprint of what you're going to be kind of working and doing. And I really enjoy this so far. And this is really fun. Like, this is like opening a brand new bag of potato chips for me. Sometimes we have those bag of potato chips that have been in the cupboard for, like, a couple months or something, and we're having a nice fresh ham sandwich with mustard and rye bread. It's really awesome. We go to get some chips to go with that, and oh my gosh, we open up a bag of chips and they're stale. This is like finding a fresh bag of chips. I'm just telling you, I'm excited about this, and I like food too. I'm always I enjoy food a lot. I'm probably a foodie. You probably can know that from watching my videos. I talk about food a lot. But in any case, my friends, we're having a good time. Let me take a quick break. Let's take a break. Take breaks, to relax a little bit, and then we'll come back. But we're just going to continue on like this. We're going to do some more figures in different positions, and you'll have a fun time doing this. Let's just keep working for the next hour or so. And again, we'll do more of these videos. And again, the more thumbs up I have, then the more I know I'm going to create more videos like this. All right? All right. So we'll be right back, and we'll get back working again. All right. So we're continuing on here. And you know what? This is another thing, too, you can do, which is maybe you like to work with a larger brush. And that's fine too. So from the number 5, we're working with a number 5 synthetic brush. Synthetic brushes absolutely are fantastic if you're beginning. So if you're here for the first time, or maybe you're just starting watercolor for like the first few weeks or few months or so, the synthetic brushes are really fantastic because they don't hold as much water, so you get a little more control. When you start working into some of the natural hair brushes, they're great too. They're actually fantastic for watercolor, and most watercolor artists will tend to enjoy and use the natural hair brushes after they just start out. But if you're starting out, again, the synthetics are perfect for you because it kind of allows you to control your water a little more. But once you start to get up to speed, maybe after 6 months or a year, then you're going to be working into your natural sable brushes. This one's a Charles Reed travel brush. These are really great because you can stow them and put them in your pocket or in your bag, your purse, your shirt pocket when you go out to paint around. Maybe, you're going to go out to the park, or locally you might, hang out and sit on a bench and paint a street scene or something with your watercolors and a little sketchbook. You put these travel brushes together like that, and then you open them up and put them together like this, and you have perfect brushes that are ready to go. And then they have a little hole in the top, so when you're done and you're going to pack them away in a duffel bag or a little backpack or whatever it is that you're using, or a small bag, you could just put them away like this, and then they dry out naturally, so you don't even have to dry them out or anything like that. You can just take these and leave them in your bags or whatever, and then the next time you go painting, you just grab your bag. These are in there, and you don't even have to take them out and dry them or anything like that. They dry naturally because there's a little hole in the top of the brush like this, in the top of the brush, the cap of the brush. So these are fantastic. So I use these all the time, and I do paint outdoors often, around my house, local neighborhood, my local city where I live. Sometimes I'll go down to the shore and paint in the New Jersey shore. Sometimes I go over by New York City, different areas like that. Hoboken, which is across from New York City, I like to paint there too. A lot of great things to paint there. So I paint everywhere, but a lot in the studio too. Probably most of my work is in the studio, and I do most of my painting actually with YouTube, but I do a lot of my own personal paintings too as well. So let's get started here, and again, a little bit of a larger brush, and then what we'll do is, once in a while, if you want to, you can use a pencil, perhaps just to get a few things. Like, I want to do a chair now, a seated figure, so maybe I'll create a little bit of a chair. So I just want to kind of make a chair here. So I'll put a little pencil line across here. Hopefully you can see that. So I just make a level line, which will be my chair, just so I have that level line for the chair. And then I'll just, again, we'll go the same thing. Ivory black, a little bit of the burnt sienna, okay, and a little bit of the raw, maybe some burnt umber. We'll put a little bit of blue in there too. A little bit of blue to mix in there. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so now for the seated pose, we'll just do, we'll just start maybe the knees of the, so these are going to be the two knees of the form. That's going to be the knees, and then the legs coming down, the calves, and then maybe the feet kind of coming down here like this. And then the same thing here, calves, and then maybe the feet here, like that. And then we're going to have our thighs here, like so. And we'll make this a chair. Like that. And then we're going to start getting our body in here, our upper torso. And then maybe we'll take some more paint here, and I'll swing my hand this way so that my brush is actually pointing down like this. If you can see that, my brush is pointing down like this, and then I'll just bring my hand over here and then rest my hand down on the paper, nice and stable, and then I'll get my elbow here. I want to get the elbow here. This is going to be like the Thinker. Does everybody know that Thinker statue? Everyone's seen that probably. I'm not sure who the sculptor was that created that, but that's a beautiful sculpture of the Thinker, and he's kind of just sitting and has his head on his hand as he's thinking. So we'll create his hand here and his head here, like this, like that, and then some of the neck there, and then the shoulder over here, like that. I'll spin my brush around again like this. And he's got his hand on his lap. Like this. So you can kind of see that he's got his elbow on his knee. But it's we're not going to get that involved in too many details. We're just going to kind of have the idea of the head, the hand, with the head resting on the hand, elbow down, top of the knee. This side over here, shoulder, tricep, elbow, hand over by the resting on his other thigh. And then we have his legs and his feet like this, like that. And he's in a chair like so, like that. And then maybe we can put a chair in the back here, like that. Okay, maybe another bit of the chair like that. Like that. And then what'll make this really look fantastic is obviously the shadow. Did anyone notice that? I'm sure many of you noticed that right away. You said, why has Chris not added the shadow? And that's what I'm doing. Like that. Okay, if you want to, you could add a few things. Maybe a lamp. Maybe a lamp up here. I have my hand on the paper and I just slide my hand like that as I have my brush here. Like that. Maybe we'll create just a little bit of a lamp here. Maybe he's reading a book or like that. And if you can always lift up a few splashes a little bit here and there, just like that. All right, so we've done 3 figures so far. I'm hoping this is really fun. Hope you're having a great time with us here, friends. Let's keep working on some more figures. So we're going to do a little more here. Let's do a couple more down here. Then we're going to get another sheet of paper, and we'll do a few more. Again, let's work for about an hour. An hour, give or take, just to, get ourselves kind of really, in the swing of things as far as doing some work with the figures with just a brush and some paint. No pencils. You only saw me use the pencil one time to get the seat here, just so I wanted to get a level line there. And, of course, I could always, I'm going to erase those lines like that. But I'd be really careful. I wouldn't try erasing when your paint is wet, because I've gotten in too many troubles trying to erase pencil lines when my paint was wet on my watercolors. But that's fine. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll brush off the crumbs later. I should have used my kneaded eraser. Kneaded erasers are really the erasers you like to use. They don't create any crumbs, so when you're erasing, use your kneaded erasers. As a watercolor artist, you really wouldn't use anything but this, the kneaded eraser. And again, all my art supplies, by the way, are down below. I have links to all my art supplies, my brushes, my paper, my paints, pencils, pens, kneaded erasers, whatever you need. It's all linked down below. You can go to Amazon. I buy pretty much 90% of all my art supplies on Amazon. And then as far as, you can, shop around from there too. Amazon has endless amounts of art supplies. You can find things that are more your price range if you want to. Maybe you're going to spend a little more. Maybe some of my items are a little less expensive. You want to spend more. You want to have higher quality things, whatever it is, or you want to spend a little less. You're on a budget. You don't want to go too, crazy. Whatever it is, don't worry about it. Again, all my art supplies, pretty much the ones that I'm going to tell you, ones that I've been using for many, many, many years. that work great, that's only the items I put in my description box below. I'm not going to put anything in my description box below that doesn't work really, really well and perform, in a really high level. So just wanted to mention that because, sometimes I know people on other artists, they'll put things on their websites and things, and maybe it's not the highest of quality or it doesn't function as good as they say it does, so on and so forth. But I do all the things that I put in my description box below, links to art supplies. Again, I've used them for many, many, many years. Those are the things I put down below. I wouldn't put anything I'm just trying out or haven't used for a long time. Okay? All right, let's keep going. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll do let's create another figure painting. All right, so we're going to pick back up again. I'm going to go with even a larger brush now at this point. So we did start out, again, we said we talked about, I started out with the number 5 here, synthetic brush, Da Vinci travel brush that comes with a Schmincke paint set, watercolor paint set that I use usually on a continual basis. You'll see me use my Schmincke set. It's usually the main palette I use all the time on YouTube for many, many years. Okay, then I shifted over to a little bit larger Charles Reed travel brush here. I think this is a number 8 travel brush. He has a set of 3. I buy the set of 3 whenever I need new brushes when they wear out after a while, after a year or two. And then this one here is a Da Vinci Maestro brush, sable hair. So these two are sable hair. This one is synthetic hair. So this is a number, I think it's a number 12, or number 10. Da Vinci Maestro number 10. Kolinsky sable hairbrush, number 10. So I'm going to use the number 10, but you can see that I'm really stepping up the size now. So I went from this to this here. So these two, I created these two with this brush here. Then we created this one here. Next figure, we're gonna use the little bit larger, number 10. So you can adjust your brush sizes to suit what you're doing as far as what you want, the look you want. You're the artist. You'll choose your own sizes of brushes. You'll choose your color mixes, so on and so forth. You're going to choose your subject matter. Again, you can find figures in any type of subject matter, magazines, books. You can find it on your electronic devices like your iPad, your iPhone, the TV, newspaper clippings, wherever you want. You can find all the figures you need, and then you just take it, set it in front of you, and then just take your brush and say, all right, I'm going to create that figure with just my brush and a little bit of paint and see how that looks. And again, we really have been having a lot of fun so far. This is so much fun. All right, so now let's come over here. The next thing I'm going to do is let's create a figure in a reclined position. So I'll take some more of that black, ivory black, a little bit of burnt sienna, ivory black. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of water from my water container. Just add a little bit of water to that. All right, and what I'll do is I'll start out with maybe the foot of the model, like this. And again, don't feel like you have to have everything perfect. The heel, and then across, like this. Calf. We'll have about the knees about here, and then here like this. Now we might run into an issue where I don't have enough room, so I'm going to actually take my figure and what I'm looking at, I'm going to actually change a little bit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change it around a little bit. Here's the shoulder, like this, coming down. Elbow, hand, here, thumb, like this, like that. Okay, again, I'm not saying I'm an expert with this. I'm just trying to have a good time, enjoy painting the figure. All right, here we go. And then we're going to do the head here, like that. And I'm going to dip my brush in a little bit of water, pick up some more black, and burnt sienna and just get a little more of that mix there. And then we're going to kind of go from here, do a little bit of the right arm, shoulder, bicep, elbow, and forearm, elbow, forearm, and hand. Kind of draped over the head like this. Like this. Like that. Okay, again, nothing perfect, just having a good time. And then we have our figure here. And we do like the breast over here a little bit. And then the upper torso coming down. Like that. And we're going to come over here like this. Like this, and then the thigh. And you can spin around your brush this way if you want to. I think I'll just go this way and kind of just, yeah, I think I'll do this here, like that. Knee here. Down like that. Calf muscle. Thigh, inner thigh. Down to here. A little more paint. Again, when my paint runs out, I just come back right over to my palette, grab more paint. Okay, again, just having fun, enjoying this. Again, nothing, we're not looking for perfection here. We're just looking to have the basic shape of the human form as we go. And then as you create more of these, you'll find that you'll just have an easier time of it. Like in the beginning, you know, you might have, your legs might be shorter or too long. Your arms might be too long or too short. Not a worry. Just, again, the more you're working and doing this, you will definitely be able to render it more, easily and have more fun with it. I'm not happy if I create something with a small arm and too big of a legs. But again, we're having fun. It's more fun, just enjoying the process. And again, some more of the shadowing like that underneath. I pick up a little more water and then I just add a couple splashes like that. And that is it. We are having so much fun. We're going to come back, do one more sheet. So we have one sheet now completed. I'm using the Fabriano paper. That's my favorite paper to use. I use it 90% of the time, but I do experiment with other brands of paper. I like to use Arches as well. And then there's other ones that I like to use too, just to experiment once in a while. Arteza and Buckingford. And what else might I use? Canson. But Fabriano is basically my favorite paper. And so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to take another sheet of Fabriano, the Studio Watercolor, which is a great bargain. You'll see it in the comment section below. The Fabriano Studio Watercolor. It's got like 50 sheets. Beautiful, like professional grade watercolor paper. They call it Studio Watercolor, but it's definitely absolutely really fantastic professional grade watercolor paper. And works and performs fantastic. So let's come back in just a few minutes. We'll let this dry a little bit, then I'll peel off the tape and I'll put a new sheet on the paper here, and we'll continue on. Hope you're having a great time. I'm having a great time here, as you can tell. And again, it's like opening a bag of fresh potato chips. It's really good. It's crunchy. It's good. All right, so let's keep going, my friends, and we'll be right back. All right, let's change out our paper. And whenever I use paper, I mention this, I always like tape it down at least on two places. Like I'll usually tape it all the way around so that I kind of create like a picture frame around the outside edge of my paper. But for exercises like this, I wouldn't need, I don't think we would need to do that. I would just put a piece of tape on top and a piece on the bottom. This way the paper won't move around when we're working on it. That's the key. So let's stick with our brush here. We have a number 10 again, sable brush, number 10. And we'll continue working with this. And then I think what we'll do is I'll rinse my brush off, take a little bit of that water, burnt sienna, and ivory black. I just mix up those two and just maybe make a little spot here like that. And then what I'll do is now let's continue on. I think we'll start over here again, and I think I'll start out with the head. And what I'm hoping is that you'll kind of work along with me too, and just kind of work and use what I'm creating here as your subject matter that you're going to reference. So here I'm going to have the head and the neck here, and then we'll have the shoulder, trapezius and the shoulder muscle, deltoid, tricep, bicep. Okay, nothing too and then we're going to have maybe this figure is going to be carrying something here. So let's have the other arm here like so, and we're going to have it carrying something like this, like that. Okay. So this is kind of more of an action figure. And again, just more fun, kind of like creating something like this, like an action type figure. And upper torso, rib cage, down to the hips. And then maybe the hips are like this. This one goes down this way a little bit, and this one comes up this way a little bit, like that. And then we'll take the hand again. Again, I spin my brush around this way. If you get paint on your hand, just wipe it off. A little bit of tissue. If you lean into the paint, I just usually wipe it off with the tissue. And I want to spin my brush around like this. You can also take your brush and kind of move it down so that you have you're holding the brush back further like this, and then you can hold your hand up higher above the figure so you don't lean into the paint. Kind of like a technique of just thinking of it as your most stable position with your hand and your brush, as if you can have your hand resting on your paper. So with watercolor, the wonderful thing about watercolor is it dries pretty fast. So when you're working on your paintings, most times you can lean on areas that you've already painted. But here, not so much. So then this way we got to be a little more careful. So we choke up on the brush like this, which means, get a little grip on the brush higher, then go up above it. Rest our hand on the paper, on the board that we're using, and then we just get our thigh here, and we'll work on down to our leg and our foot here. Same thing, I'll just spin around this way. Pick up some more paint. Like that. Knee here. And then maybe this way too. Like that. And that's fun, right? let's keep enjoying these figure paintings. And then what you can do is you can always go in and kind of fill out areas that you think look a little bit like thinner. Like if you want to add a little more shoulder here, you know, you can sort of go back in, and this is fine. Keep sculpting your, it's almost like you're a sculptor. You're sculpting your figure. So you're adding more volume to your form, your human form here as you want to. Obviously, if you go too big or too thick, well, then you're really not going to be like trying to, you know, erase your paint. Obviously, you can't erase paint. You could go over with a little bit of white, titanium white or something like that, but that's not really. So if anything, you'd want to go thinner with your form, and then you can fill out some areas if you want to add more volume to it. But that's our form with a little bit of an action figure here, and I'll add a little more. Again, we'll put our shadow. All right, let's do 2 more. So we're gonna have a fun time. All right, the next one, let's create a running figure. Why not? Let's try a running figure. All right, so with a running figure, we'll start with the head. So I'm going to start with the head here. And then we're going to then we'll go with the neck there. The neck there, and then we're going to have the back, the shoulder blades, and the back here. And if you paint into your other figure, that's fine too. Don't worry about it. Again, we're just having fun here. So we're going to have the back, the shoulder blades come down here, rib cage. Okay, and then my phone is ringing off the hook tonight. I don't know why. Okay, and then we're going to have the pelvis here. And then here we're going to have the thigh, like this. And then this way here. So, wow, this figure is really moving here. You can see. You're not seeing it right now, I guarantee you, but you will in a few seconds. This figure is running at a full sprint. Now, we're going to have this thigh, knees about here. Okay, again, don't worry about it. If your figures run into each other, that's fine. We're just, again, having a good time here. And then we'll have an arm going out from here, shoulder, arm, forearm. And then let's make the back over here, shoulder, tricep. And then like this. And again, you can fill in some of the volume if you need to. And then we're going to add a little shadow here. Okay, so we're adding some real dynamics to this as we go. Some lifting of some, carrying of some objects, some running, kind of a running figure here. Looks like a sprint, actually. That's definitely a full-out sprint. And then, what else are we going to... Maybe we should do something pretty mellow over here because this one is sprinting and it's... I don't think we're going to have enough room to do anything really super dynamic over on this right-hand side. So let's do something more simple over here. So I will just take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and we'll just do one last figure. I'm hoping you're having a great time. Again, enjoy this, practice these, and please use my subject matter here as your references. This way, it's kind of easy to see on the camera here. You have tons of really contrast. You have tremendous contrast here, light and dark. So you can really see that. It's kind of pretty dynamic as far as the dark and lights of this. So you'll be able to see the shapes really, really nicely. All right. So let's, I'll come right back and we'll finish up with one more figure. All right, let's create one more figure, and let's see if we can mix up a little more burnt sienna and some ivory black. Okay. All right, so this one here, let's see, let's do this. Okay, let's try this here. So I'm going to do the head first here, and some hair, like that. Shoulder. Back. Okay, so we're going to have the arm here. And then we're going to have the shoulder here, body, the upper torso. Okay, and then some and the feet, shoes. Calf muscle there. Okay, so shadow. And a little bit of splashing. And again, silhouette kind of feel, you know, nothing too, like not much detail to this. Just the overall shape of the human form, and that is really goes a long way. All right, I hope you had a fun time. Again, we're going to do more videos like this, especially if you give me a thumbs up. So if I see a lot of thumbs up, I know you're interested in kind of working with this type of feel, which is the human form, just working with a brush and some paint, not really getting too involved with pencil drawing and all the fine details of fine features or light, shadow, things like that. Just the basic outline, the silhouette of the human form. If you like this type of thing, I really enjoy doing this, and if you want to practice more on this, let me know. I'll make more videos like this. I'll work them into the routine a little more often. I have done these before in the past, but few and far between, because again, like I said, a lot of times people don't really, a lot of my artist friends here, on YouTube, a lot of times they're not really interested in this too much. But I still want to put it out there to see if there might be a change of heart, or if maybe I've presented it in a more a better fashion that you'll maybe enjoy it and want to work with this type of thing more. Hopefully you'll let me know, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.